Welcome makers to this tutorial on how to use Tinkercad to create 3D models. This tutorial it will be very simple, just to let you know how you can log into Tinkercad, and in case you don't have an account, you can create one. It's a free account. Just make sure you use your Gmail account, whether if it's from school or it's a personal email. And if you don't want to, you can always come to me and I can help you set up a temporary account for you. So this is the Tinkercad website. From here, not a lot of things that I'll show you, except that here on resources and at the Learning Center, you'll find tutorials on most of the operations and things you can do here. Tinkercad is very useful for 3D design, but you can also simulate circuitries. You can also code, make lines of code in order to create 3D models, which is pretty interesting, and other things. So if you were to log in, click here on the top right corner section. If you have a personal account, you can create it over here, here in Join Tinkercad, and if not, there's always the option to enter a class with a class code here in the second option. This class code I can give you, and then, like I said, I can make a temporary account for you to work with Tinkercad. Now, on the subject of Tinkercad, so this is how a Tinkercad web page or home page will look like for you. In my case, I'm just gonna click here, create a new 3D design. And this is the Tinkercad environment. This is a 3D environment, and I strongly encourage you to grab a mouse and connect it to your computer, because it's just so much easier. Here you can select things with the left click. Right now we don't have anything here in the work plane. But also with your right click, if you give it a right click and drag it, you can move around this space, and it will take a couple of minutes to kind of adjust to how this 3D space works. But for now, you can always know that in case you get lost, you can always click here on this home option or home view option, and it will bring you back to this original space. Now, the way Tinkercad works is that it gives you a lot of basic shapes, some other kinds as well. Here's a full menu, but the basic shapes can get you very far. So for example, here I'm gonna bring a cylinder, and you'll see these dots, these white dots around it, also the black ones. But the white dots will let you know the measurements of this. These 20 units represent millimeters, which you can care or not. Right now, we will maybe need to adjust the scaling other programs in case you're 3D printing this. So you can use this freely, but if you're already thinking on the correct size of your pieces, just know that these are millimeters, and you can just click, give a left click and drag these to kind of modify pieces. There was always at the top, you will find another one of these squares to make things taller. And if you ever need to move a piece apart from this work plane, which is where things are brought on by default, whenever you select a shape in here, it will be attached to the work plane, or to the top, or to the one of the sides of the pieces in case you needed to. But in this case, there will always, you have to move around a little bit, because from here you can't see it that much. But if you move to the side, you'll always see a little arrow in here where you can move things and apart from the work plane. And you'll know exactly how much apart by this number. Again, you get lost, clicking home view, and you're back to the beginning. So there's a lot of tutorials available for you to get started on this. I can certainly help you how to create stuff. The main thing here in Tinkercad is that you can create pieces. If you put them close together, or maybe crossing each other, like how this cone is already like a little bit into the cylinder that I brought on. If you export these two pieces together, they will come out as just single piece. And the other way that you can like make more complex shapes is that all the pieces have this solid and whole mode. Solid pieces are just gonna represent, like its name says, solid pieces on the, if you were gonna 3D print them. But if you turn something into a whole mode, this will make a hole of this shape around or into the materials or the pieces that it's getting into. For example, I'm gonna lower this down a little bit, which is I'm not changing the size of the cone. This has been always been 20 millimeters, but rather I'm just like moving it downwards. And having done so, now I have this cone in whole mode going into this cylinder that is on solid mode. Now to join these two pieces and for us to exactly know what's going on, we select these two by giving a left click, selecting the two of them, or just clicking shift and then clicking on both of them. And then here you kind of group these two pieces. Now as you can see, we've made a cone-like shape into this cylinder. So now that this is an integrated piece, it just works as a single one, and you can still modify its size, its measurements, its position, and you can keep adding stuff in here. The moment you combine these two solids together, again you select, you click on shift, and while you have it clicked, you select these two, or give a left click, drag this left click, select these two pieces. Here you can tell how many pieces have been selected, and here I'm gonna group them. Now this is a single piece. In time though, you might need to adjust some of these measurements or pieces to be aligned somewhat. Say for example, if I have these two cylinders, but one is like slightly smaller than the other. Notice that this one is 15 by 15, and it will be a little taller. So I want to align these, but in a way that they're like concentrical, and they might not be right now. And maybe I can do it manually. Like it's never gonna be like exactly the center. So you can select these two pieces again. Click here on the align feature, and I'm gonna select the center point of this axis and the center point of this axis. And now this cylinder is aligned to the center of the bigger one. You can even align them in height. And of course, if I don't want to lose its current position, just so you can tell that there are different pieces right now, just change the color for a little bit. I can just select the two of them, join them, and now this is a single piece. Great, so this is how you can assemble things in Tinkercad. Again, if you ever have more questions about how to use this, I can always help you. But also, I strongly encourage you to go through some of the tutorials in Tinkercad so you can discover on your own what are the possibilities. This has been like a small tutorial only using the basic shapes, but you can use text. There's some other, you can look in here in the menu like other shapes you can do, and also as an option you can import a piece or a 3D file from a different source in case you already have something that you may want to mix or change a little bit. You can always import something and then export it. By the way, if you're looking to export something or 3D print anything of this, let's say I want to export on this single piece, you go to export. I'll be selecting the STL file for 3D printing. Here it says that it's including only the selected shape, so I'll be exporting this. And now I have this file. By the way, whenever you create a 3D design, it always comes with this random name, so help yourself, help everyone at the makerspace, and put in a real name so we can easily identify what exactly you are making. So while this file goes from one computer to another computer, and maybe even when it reaches the 3D printer, we can always tell that is your file. All right, so good luck with your 3D designing, with your 3D printing, and I'll see you around.